Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
And go.
All right. It's time for the podcast. This is the Board Game Snobs podcast. This is the premier star of the show. With me in the studio, not really in the studio, but via the internet, is Gaby, the host. Say something.
Hey, Jerry, how are you now?
All right, there you go. And with us, a special guest.
Oh, you let that... You're supposed to say, good and you? Not so bad. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just go.
I am going on because that...
You've already failed. You've already failed. 10 seconds in the podcast. You've let me down, but go ahead.
Pitter patter, let's get at her. We have with us the premier host of the Order from Chaos and an individual who shares his name with two books of the Bible, Mr. Matthew Jude Law. Say hello, Matthew.
Hello.
Thank you
Enough
for that.
said. Move on.
This is
Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm here. Yeah, me. It's me.
Matthew
Screw you, Dan.
Jude,
Is that-
Matthew Jude. Matthew Jude. Matthew Jude. Matthew Jude. Can y'all tell what tune that is?
That's awful. Just stop that.
It was close to Country Road. It was Country Road adjacent.
Very good. Very good. How about this one? Matthew Judy Jude. Matthew Jude, Matthew Jude, Matthew Jude. Matthew Judy Jude. This is the whole show, by the way.
This
I'm
is
gonna sing
Art
songs
I Love Rock
only
and Roll,
with
right?
Yes. All right. Move on.
Is this some Hank Jr. next?
Matthew Jude, Matthew Jude. Something tear in my
My
beer. How
friends
do you
call
sing
me
that?
Superman. Do they Hank
don't know that
Jr.?
one.
I don't think they do. I think you asked your friends Hank Jr. to call you Superman, and they all went along with it. That's what I think happened, Hank Jr. Man of Steel. Shut up.
The only thing I know about Hank Jr. is that he has a tear in his beer, so therefore his beer is now salty.
We're in Texas. You're offending half our audience. Oh, my.
I'm the biggest. I think I might be the biggest country music fan here.
Probably so. Probably so. I did not start. Okay, full disclosure. Growing up here in southeast Oklahoma, northeast Texas, I despised. And, it's probably one of those things where, as a rebellious teenager, you're anti-culture of wherever you're at. I despised country music. Despised it. I was into techno pop and heavy metal. So country music, I couldn't stand it. Roll forward 21 years later, I meet my future wife, my now wife. And she's into country music. She likes Garth Brooks. My second concert ever, Garth Brooks, at Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas. One of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. Didn't know a song he sang other than "Friends in Low Places," but it was amazing.
You must have known Friends in Low Places.
I knew "Friends in Low Places." Literally, that's it. That's all I know of Garth Brooks.
What you want to do is you want to get some Mel Haggard on. That's what you need to do. Listen to some Mel Haggard. It'll change your life.
Oh, wait, Merle Haggard. What's the one he sings with? The guy that smokes weed all the time.
Oh,
Willie?
That's Poncho and Lefty. It's a Towns Van Zandt song.
Poncho and Lefty. That is one of my freaking favorite songs of all time.
Oh, the federalists say.
Yes.
That's a Towns Van Zandt song. Towns Van Zandt's probably my favorite musician of all time, next to Tom Waits.
Oh, I love that song. That's one of my go-to karaoke's.
Oh, that's great. Living on the road. Anyway, so board games? We like board games?
Nah, we'll get into that about 50 minutes in. Go ahead, Jerry.
I think we need to do a board game themed karaoke night where Gaby and Mr. Jude, probably Dan Hughes. I would assume that Mike DeLissa's Toes has a good voice. Maybe Richard Simpson, and y'all can all do your own karaoke versions, and it kind of be like that, not that lip sync battle thing, but something similar. Like board gaming the voice.
I'd like that. I am the voice of board gaming first and foremost, so let's get that nailed down straight away. But I actually did karaoke with a bunch of board game folk at a Dice Tower con once. I went with Ambi and Crystal from Board Game Blitz. Z Garcia was there. Me and Nick and Mike Murphy were there. Dan Hughes was invited. He did not go.
What? Shocker.
It was good. Oh, Gary Pope was there, and I think I got just way drunker than anyone else. It was one of those situations. It was fine. It was good.
Look at all these names he's dropping, Jerry.
Ooh. Oh.
And that's how he made it. That experience is what got him on the Watch It Played.
That's what did it.
Rodney's like, that's my man right there.
I thought you were Rodney's little brother. How'd that work out? How did you get on Watch It Played?
Well, Rodney is my cousin, as everyone can tell. We both wear our hats at a jaunty angle, which is something that we found out recently. Rodney's talent scouts me. You know, he said, Matthew, look at him. Isn't he? He could do better. Let's see if he can do better over at Watch It Played. And that's what happened.
And you have.
Not that you were doing bad prior. It was. I mean, you were doing all right. Like you had that little 5-minute spot on Board Game Breakfast back in the day, didn't you?
Back in that day, big time.
Yeah.
Learning how
Before
the
we go
camera
too much
works.
into Matthew's expertise, I have some stuff I need to say, Jerry.
Jeez.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So I have some. As I keep as these thoughts occur to me for our podcast, I write them down in my journal, my Board Game Snobs journal,
Your diary.
Dream board.
my dream diary, my vision diary. I envision it and it comes true.
You've been reading The Secret.
I've been reading The Secret, and so far it's not working.
You're trying to manifest a Ferrari.
It has not. Well, actually, apparently I've manifested. Okay,
He's trying to manifest a waistline. I'm sorry. I'm going to get some more tea.
Dare you? You're already fat shaming, and we're not even 10 minutes in, but whatever. Okay. So I wrote down, and I just thought maybe this would be humorous. Sometimes I write down, if I can get this in, if this subject ever comes up, I will toss this in there. It's going to be gold.
So you're just going to shoehorn them right in at the start. That's a good way to do it.
Kimono dragons. I wrote that down. I was like,
So they're dragons in Komodo. I get it. Yeah.
it's either dragons wearing kimonos, or
Yeah.
I wear a dragon as a kimono.
Or you have a kimono that's covered in dragons.
Oh, that's a third option I did not
I
consider.
have to imagine that third one would be the easiest to manifest.
No, that would be. I did. Well, actually, I went with dragons wearing kimonos, and like that's their gang colors. So
Got ya.
they're like fighting pterodactyls and robes or something. I don't know. Is that what animal? What is dragon an animal? A flying lizard? What rivals dragons in the sky?
Pterodactyls.
But the fantasy
reality?
realm, is there pterodactyls?
Unicorns.
Oh, Pegasus.
I was going to say
A flying
Pegasus. Pegasus. Page. A bunch of Pegasus. Pegasi.
Pegasi.
What would you
Some type
call
of flying squid would probably be dangerous, I have to assume.
Kraken?
I'll get it.
Kraken in the sky. What would you call a pack or herd of dragons?
A dragoon.
Done.
I would
Done
call
and
it a
done.
campfire of dragons.
That makes sense. They breathe fire. Okay, I had this discussion literally yesterday. Okay, in every movie where there's dragons, you have Dragonheart and Reign of Fire. Those are the two dragon movies I acknowledge. Aragon, go whatever yourself, throw yourself in a trash can. So they can produce the fire. I assume they tighten their sphincter and all their methane gas, therefore they burp it out, right?
No.
Makes perfect sense.
How do they ignite it? What's the ignition?
They smash their teeth together real quick and make a spark.
That is exactly what I said.
Is that what you said?
Exactly what.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I said.
Their
I said
eye
they have
teeth
to
are
have
like
some sort of flint-like teeth. Yes.
I just always assumed that they had a gland, two types of glands that secreted some sort of like binary explosive that when combined, they ignite. And all you need is
Like-
just oxygen.
Like Bakugo from My Hero Academia, if anyone else out there is an anime nerd like me. No? Anyone? Cool. Let's go.
I do know Emilio Estevez in Mission Impossible, hasta lasagna, when he squeezes the bubble gum together.
Right, something similar. Yeah, so nothing like the anime, just like Emilio
Hasta
Estevez.
lasagna, don't get any on you.
Quack, 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 quack. That's Emilio Estevez, is it?
Young Guns 3, anybody? Emilio Estevez trying to get it off the ground. Who's asking for that? Nobody.
Nobody wants it.
Clamoring for it.
Tombstone 2, that's what I'm into. That's what I want.
Tombstone 2. The retoming.
Yeah. Or the Unearthed. Tombstone 2, Unearthed. I'd watch that.
Tomb
Original
Raider.
cast. Tomb Raider.
They
That's
dig up.
That's not taken.
They dig up Doc Holliday out of the ground, and they go on like this weekend from Bernie's adventure with him. You know.
Hey, Doc, do the thing with a spinning cup, and it's just like trying to grab his arm.
It's just like he
working.
becomes a barista at Starbucks with his spinning cup move.
Rest in peace? I don't think so.
Okay, the second thing I had written down. This was inspired by an Order from Chaos episode. Ever heard of that? Anybody?
It burnt so bright it lasted 6 shots. Not because it got cancelled. All of us, I'm just waiting for the call. Dan needs to do is message me and say, want to record? And it'd be done. But he doesn't, the call never comes.
Order from Chaos was the Lou Bega of podcasting. It burnt bright and went out. It was awesome.
I have shouted it from the rooftops. I love Order from Chaos. The best podcast Dan has ever done.
Easily.
On the episode, y'all ranked moths, and Dan espoused his hatred of moths. And I came to the conclusion, and I realized, this is something else I've written down in this journal of mine. Moths are zombie butterflies.
They are like vampiric butterflies, right? They're the butterflies of the night. I would say they're braver than the regular butterfly because they ain't scared of the dark. Right? They're great.
But they're gray? They only come out at night? It sounds like a zombie to me.
Maybe they're goths.
That would have been a better name for them. Goths. Look at all those goths fluttering about. I've got goths in my closet. And you open it up.
Why aren't moths called goths is the greatest question. That's a meme in the making. We could go viral.
There's so
many goth balls.
I've got goths in my closet. You open it up, it's just some 15-year-old dark-headed kid with studded necklace on, and he's in there listening to depressing music.
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3 dancing his way through there. Okay. See, I appreciate y'all letting me rattle these off because they've been in my journal/diary. Do you have a problem with the word diary, Matthew?
Diary? No. Why would I have a problem?
Jerry seems to insinuate that that's only for girls.
I do not.
We have podcasts to back this up.
I just say that your journal is more of a diary because it is more of a diary. Like a journal is where you are journaling something. You actually have an objective. You're keeping track of something, whereas a diary is just your random feelings. Your diary is I've read it, by the way. It's just these random feelings that you have wrote down about. Oh, I texted Jerry and he didn't text me back. That type of stuff. It's a diary.
A diary has a more of a emotional based connotation, whereas a journal has a more of a fact based reiteration of what happened during the day. Where do you stand on the audio captain's log? Stardate 36285. The Bajorans are causing me a massive headache. You know, that kind of thing.
It would be a journal.
That's a journal. But the personal log is a diary.
Personal log's a diary. Captain's, I see the distinction you're making there.
Yeah, personal log. I wish Diana would quit wearing those low-cut uniforms and wear something more appropriate for the bridge.
Yeoman Rand.
What?
Yeah. Okay. Deep cut. Yeoman Rand.
Was that the Bajoran that got sent off on that mission and would have been a really good character?
Oh no! Star Trek TOS.
Yeah.
The yeoman that always just randomly brought Kirk these things to sign in her.
Oh, was that her?
In the red.
Yeah.
Yeah. The blonde-haired red dress. That was Yeoman Rand.
When you word it, blonde hair, red dress, I've got a very different picture in my mind to what I know would have been the truth. I'm thinking The Matrix. But
oh, yes.
You want me to sign what? Yes, of course. You can have any part of my body. It's a scientific test. Yeah, no problem. Blood? I'm full of blood.
Okay, that turned really personal log. Okay, go ahead with
Don't
your
Bogart the conversation. Bogart. You know where that comes from? The term Bogart the conversation?
Humphrey.
Oh, you don't?
It literally comes, and I think we discussed this previously, but I made the assumption, not knowing it was the truth, it actually has to do with Humphrey Bogart. And the way that he bogarted cigarettes, he wouldn't let them go. He always had them dangling in his teeth. Thus the term Bogart, like not letting something go. So, or like the conversation, don't Bogart this, don't have you? Yeah. So y'all know the term Bogart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. Humphrey, the man.
Matthew's really bogarting that beanie. He's always got it. See?
Big time.
Big time Bogart.
Big time.
The beanie. What is your, go ahead.
I know. I was thinking about cigarettes. I thought it was going to be someone who always like asked for cigarettes, like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. Sarah, 2 smokes. Let's go. I thought that was going to be what Bogarting was, but yeah, I see it. Humphrey Bogart was he a terrible person? Do we know anything about him? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like nowadays. I don't know whether to say I'm a pro Bogart or anti Bogart. I don't know. I assume he was just a typical male of the time. He probably had his imperfections as well as his good things. So who knows?
I'm assuming a neutral Bogart stand until further notice.
Yeah, I think it's the safest place to be. Surely.
Are you a Bogartist? How dare you?
So,
all right.
You were going to say something. No, that's me saying you were going to say something. Go on.
I'm always going to say something. Is it important? No.
I'm always going to say something. It's a podcast.
It's a podcast, yes. Rally racing. That's crazy stuff, right?
I don't have that in Britain. They do bicycles, and I assume we don't have rally. What have you been watching rally racing
in Britain? I have become a rally racing enthusiast, and I believe those may be the best drivers that exist in the world. And I thus, therefore, put myself in that category. I could be a rally racer because I am a professional driver.
Wait a minute. They're better than the hillbillies down here that drive really fast and turn left?
Yes.
I find that difficult to believe. They do that on their own. Rally racers need two people in the car just to know where they're going.
Well, you would have to. It's like coming up here at 200 miles an hour. You need to turn right around this corner, or else we're going to hit that tree.
Cowards.
Rally racing is. If you have TikTok, look up rally racing. It is mind blowing that those guys operate like they do.
I can't.
It's mind blowing.
Air, right? They are in the air for a lot of their races.
Oh
right?
yeah, and their shocks are amazing.
I would die instantly, almost instantly. I'd be overconfident, and I would lose it at the first turn and careen into journalists. It would be horrendous.
I think that's what the guy in the second seat. That's his job, is to keep you.
That's his job. He's to point out where the journalists are.
To tone it down. How do you get that job? Do you have to be a driver yourself, or do you just have to be a guy that's just calm enough to be able to read directions? Because I think I could be that second seat guy. I could be the backseat driver, whispering in your ear, this is coming up, this turn, that type thing.
No, not ASMR style, though. Like, hey, turn left up here.
Turn left. What?
What? Oh, I'm getting a tingle in my brain, but also I need to drive.
I'm doing 8,000 RPM right this second. You're going to have to speak up.
I mean, they have to be good at turning map pages under duress. Like you're bouncing around going at extreme speeds. You got to get that atlas going.
I'd rather drive. I think I'd rather drive in that situation because then I could have someone to blame, right?
Exactly. You can, like, the navigator. It's the navigator's fault. Okay, moving on. Did you know you can eat Matthew, are you familiar with armadillos?
Not personally, but I'm aware of their existence.
Okay,
they're
a thing
the
here.
pangolin of North America, correct?
Correct.
They are, especially in the southern Texas region, not southern Texas, but the southern region, also Texas and other areas in the south.
We used to have a advert for a chocolate bar called a dime bar, and it was branded as being the opposite of an armadillo because it was soft on the outside and crunchy on the inside.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes,
the armadillo.
That's what they did. That was for the commercials.
Everybody knows armadillos are crunchy on the outside and soft in the middle.
On the inside.
And a dime is something completely different down here.
Do y'all have zero bars near
We
you?
do. The white chocolate.
Whenever I'm in America and I'm in the South, which is normally where I am if I'm in America, I tell you what, Zero bars. You can't get them in Britain. They're the best chocolate bar. They're the best candy bar ever.
Nobody here
Incorrect.
eats those. Nobody. My wife
They're the best.
was the first person that I have ever saw buy a zero bar, and I was appalled because it looks like it's. I'm expecting a chocolate bar. I'm expecting because like dark chocolate is like the thing, and it's white. It's like this albino looking off-colored white, and she's like, "These are amazing," which got me into
amazing.
It's a
got me into
chocolate bar
eating them.
that has
But I've
lived
never seen I've
under
never
the
been into
earth.
a gas station convenience store and saw anybody buy a zero bar.
If chocolate bars lived under the earth for millennia, losing their sight, but learning to find their way around in the dark, like with radar and, bat style, that would be the zero bar.
I can see that. They do look like they've been out in the sun all day, but they are really good. They're just the best. They make Snickers bars look like a word I won't use, but they're just the best.
Snickers is the
Oh,
best.
shut up. Snickers are the best.
Oh,
Snickers are overrated.
Snickers is
Snickers have had it for too good for too long.
It's overrated for a reason because it's the best premier number one, just like Manchester United.
Well, it's been a long time since that's been true, but look, let's just talk about how I'm okay with you not liking zero bars. Frankly, I can live with that, and I'm all right with that. I can sleep at night. But the fact that you think Snicker bars are all that disgusts me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say no, thank you. I don't want a Snickers bar. You crazy? No one's ever saying that. But unless it will literally kill you. But
Unless you have peanut allergies.
diabetes or a peanut allergy, there's numerous ways a Snicker bars can get you. Let's face it. You can hot day, slip on one, nightmare. But zero bars are great.
Snicker bars are the Budweiser of candy bars. They're just the generalized thing that everybody buys. They're all right, but they are not distinctive enough to be.
What's your go-to chocolate bar? What's your go-to chocolate bar, Jerry?
Well, I've been buying a lot of off-brand stuff, but really, back in the day,
like Great Value, Sam's Choice. What are you doing?
No, it's just back in the day. I really liked those Caramello things. You know what I'm talking about? Those really fancy. They're nothing but just a little bit sweet. Got a lot of caramel in them. Caramellos.
You got your Rolos that are just your Rolos are just chocolate and caramel. Okay,
I like
a little crunch.
Rolos are good.
But you have to put them. You have to eat two at a time, and you have to put them like the wide end together, so you have one complete Rolo. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
it looks like a TIE fighter.
That's what you got to do.
But you can, going back to my diary / journal, whatever, a diary or journal, you can eat armadillo, and it's called possum on the half shell.
That is true. Depends what half you eat. If you're just eating the back end or the front end, it's slightly different. But I imagine you're slicing it right down the middle, correct? Like a clam.
You would have to. You would have to make it fair. To be fair.
Quick question. This is for both of you. To be fair, a quick question for both of you is, where do you stand on boiled peanuts?
Ooh, I'm okay. Jerry can answer here in a few moments. I had never heard of boiled peanuts until I met my wife, and her father was a truck driver, especially in the Alabama, Mississippi region.
It'll have to be. Yeah, that's where you're going to get them. Let's face it.
Came upon these boiled peanuts. I was like, what are you talking about? Sounds disgusting. I tried them. I'm addicted.
They're the best thing in the whole world. You can only get them in. Well, first, Joe, what do you think of boiled peanuts?
I have never heard of them. I am right now I am Amazoning them as we speak.
So just now, you've never heard of boiled peanuts?
You can get them in a. You can get them in a can, right? But they're not as good. But if you make them yourself, man, when I'm in Tennessee, I'm eating a lot of boiled peanuts, and I'm in Tennessee normally every year. But
hunting for Sasquatch.
Well, you could go find the Bell Witch. She's in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
There was the Nashville Foot Stomper.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's actually real. He went to prison.
For stomping foot?
He would walk around downtown Nashville. It was really actually kind of a big thing at the time. Walk around downtown Nashville and just stomping on women's feet.
I thought this was like a clogging person that I should know. Like you were into like line dancing, the Nashville Foot Stomper, and I'm looking him up as we speak. This is awful. This is going to be something that I am going. Yes. Oh my.
Don't go down that rabbit hole.
Don't fact check me on a podcast.
We are Googling everything
What
you
if I
say.
made it up for hilarious jokes?
Oh, speaking of, we'll throw it to you momentarily, and you can go into more about your death by monsters, etc. And I have a story for you, but before we do that, the pink fairy armadillo
Yeah.
is the smallest of the species. There's 20 plus species of armadillo, Matthew.
See, that does surprise me. I did not know that bit.
There are 20. We have the 9-banded here.
I would Google it, but I trust you.
As you should. I'm an armadillo aficionado. The 9-banded is what we have here in Texas and in the States. And then the further south you go, they have more types. But the pink fairy armadillo is the smallest, growing to only 6 inches long. So it's like a gerbil or hamster
I want one.
or a mouse. It's adorable. It has, it says it's mainly found in central Argentina. Light pink scales, fluffy looking white fur. It's adorable. I would never say an armadillo looked adorable until I came upon the pink fairy armadillo.
I think I'm familiar with this particular, not the one in the picture, I'm assuming, but with the breed. I'm familiar with them. Yeah, they're great.
They're great. I'm glad y'all let me get all that out. So I can cross all this hot information out of my book.
Oh, information. I was thinking you were going to go with another word there, but you went with information. That's interesting.
The last thing I have, Jerry, as far as my trivia and information, I'm going with information again. I need a thesaurus. I found this from National Geographic magazine.
Okay.
Jerry, you still there?
Yes, I am. I am intrigued
Oh, okay.
by boiled peanuts.
You have not fell asleep yet. Okay. He has got it down a boiled peanut wormhole.
Boiled peanuts are so good. You want them in a big jar like a big hot pot jar thing that's in just a gas station that has been there all day. They're the best ones.
We've purchased ours from, they come in large plastic sacks.
You can get, the way I would get them is in a big polystyrene, hating the earth polystyrene, big gulp cup. Get the whole lot. Oh, yeah, then you drink the juice at the end. It's just salt and water and peanuts.
You like it, the juice? Yeah.
Bloody great.
Okay, my last one, then we'll move on. From National Geographic.co.uk, Matthew, .uk.
So it must be right.
How well? So should I read this in a British accent?
Please do.
Offended? Are you offended when Americans toy around with a British accent?
No, I like accents and people doing accents and having fun.
How do you
with
feel
words
about
and accents
our
and stuff
accent?
and lingo? I love it.
Do you feel that we have an accent, Jerry and I?
You do both have an accent, of course.
I'm not offended when people do Southern accents. Usually it's derogatory, because we're like,
I don't get offended. So quickly, I spent a lot of time in Tennessee, and so I feel like my home state is Tennessee, if I had to pick one, just because I've spent so much time in Tennessee over the past 10 years. And the thing is, in Britain, I'm from the West Midlands, which has all the same connotations of the West Midlands are what people in America have about the Deep South. That kind of hicks and yokels and a bit stupid and terrible accent. So I have a kinship with people from the South for those reasons, I think. And I don't mind doing a Southern accent. It's I don't mind if someone does my accent, which I have got rid of as much as possible. But if someone does a thick West Midlands accent, I don't mind it. It's just when you use that accent with the connotation of that person is poor and stupid and ill-educated, right? Because sorry, that is my rant. It really does bug me. I don't like it at all. And whenever people do Southern accents, they always do it's derogatory. And it angers me.
So could you perchance try to imitate a Southern accent with none of those preconceived notions?
Hold on, I don't have a banjo to hand. Actually, when I'm in Tennessee, if I've been there for a few weeks, I have gone into stores and stuff and try to pass off as an American. I think if I'm there in it, I can get the accent down. But off the top of my head, it's never going to live up to it, right? Apparently, when I do an American accent, even if I'm trying to just do a regular American accent, like like a blank American accent, if such a thing could exist, I sound Southern. But it's because I've learned from Southern people how to sound all the time.
Okay, so why Tennessee? What's your dealings with Tennessee so much?
So when I was in university, I made really good friends with a girl called Emily, and she said, "Hey, come visit." And she lived in Franklin, which is just outside Tennessee. And I am pretty bad when it comes to doing stuff in general in life. But when someone says, "Hey, come visit," I'll welcome visit. So I called Emily up, it was Christmas Eve. I remember I called her up and said, "Hey, I just bought a ticket. I'm going to be in Tennessee for a month next year." She was like, "Cool." And when I was there, I met a bunch of people and I met a bunch of friends. And then they said, "Hey, you should come visit us next year." And I did. And from there, it kind of blossomed, and I've been going for 10 years. If the pandemic hadn't hit, I'd have been there last year, and I'd be going this year.
Very nice. Tennessee, home of some good whiskey.
It is. I'm the only 10 you need. That's not quite how the phrase goes, but I twisted it with my words.
Usually when people think of, they say, "I don't know if this will come through here." And I say, that's the problem when people think of the South.
I don't know where you come from, but you should turn back.
Yeah. I have never seen that movie, by the way, Deliverance. Never seen it.
It's about a UPS guy who goes rogue.
That's Fallen Down.
Yeah. Deliverance, I thought was like
that's a good film. If you've seen that.
That's a good one. Fallen Down's awesome.
UPS guy, yeah. Michael Douglas, right?
It is.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Baby. Okay, the last thing I have to mark it off because I've had these things in my journal /diary. From nationalgeographic.co.uk.
Yeah.
How humans are messing up bee sex. That's right. Bee sex.
Why always blame the humans?
Well, wait a minute. I always go with the first choice. I always go with the A. So what is B? What are you talking about? I am so confused. So confused.
As in the flying insect that harvests, pollen.
Okay, we're talking about pollinating, not we are talking about pollinating, but we're talking about bees. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So the honeybee's lot in life is that he has a 1% chance of less than 1% chance of successful reproduction.
I know that game.
And a 100% chance of dying after mating. You don't have a choice. You mate, you die. That sounds like a tagline for a movie.
It's the best way to go out.
Cardiac issues.
So every spring, these males, also known as drones, fly out to congregation areas, mid-air ballrooms, if you will.
Orgies. Are we talking orgies?
Mid-air orgies.
Let's just get this stuff straight. We're talking orgies here.
We're talking bee orgies. I bet there's bees' knees.
Airborne orgies, otherwise known as Spirit Airlines.
Yeah.
The Mile High Club.
For $49, you can get a first-class seat.
It says thousands of young bees gather from miles around to show their stuff. Each seeks to mate with a virgin queen, a week-old female destined from birth to found her own hive. Oh, beehive. Am I right? During these females' nuptial flights at these events, the queens gather the genetic material they'll use to inseminate eggs for the rest of their lives. Queens can lay 2,000 eggs on a good day. Take that, hens. What are chickens doing? Nothing.
Ovulating once a day.
What? Useless.
This is embarrassing.
Can we collect?
This is embarrassing.
As I go out and collect the hen's egg, this is embarrassing. Each queen will mate with about 12 of her suitors. Fewer than 1% of the males in attendance. When a lucky drone reaches one of the queens, he mounts her and flexes his abs to extend his endophallus, the bee equivalent of a peen. Yes. Is it an endophallus in your pocket? Or are you happy to see me?
A bee collecting honey. No, that is my penis. Is that a truncheon in your pocket, or is that why would I be holding a truncheon? This is quite obviously my penis. Are you not picking up what I'm putting down? Just say no.
Oh, he's trying to put it into the queen's sting chamber. Just saying.
That's it.
As I'm reading this word for word. He releases his semen with such... Okay, this is the part that got me. And you may not be aware, and this is the whole reason I'm reading this amazing story. The drone releases his semen with such speed and force that they're said to be an audible pop.
Yeah, that's normal. Then what happens?
Oh, is it? Is that...
Wait, is that not?
I maybe for some, not for all.
Well, in my younger days.
What was that?
I was... Nothing. In my younger days, of course, I was virile, a young man.
Are you popping corn in here, or yeah?
No, I am ejaculating. Why would there be pop?
No pun intended.
This
is the climax. This is the climax of a male's life. And it's rapidly downhill from here. The drone's endophallus stays behind with the queen, and he falls to the ground paralyzed to await his end.
That is how I feel after.
Is there a sadder end to life than... I mean, I guess you go out happy. I don't know. I'm not a bee. I'm not a drone.
I don't think we can truly compare ourselves to the bees, because one day they will take over, let's be honest. But if you're going to go out, that's the way to do it, right? Surely. You don't want to be working, touching flowers all day for the rest of your life, collecting a teaspoon of honey.
I have reached the pinnacle of my career. I'm dead. You could say he couldn't help falling in love with the queen.
Is that from the article?
No, I'm looking up bee puns.
Okay. Do you know that in America they had loads and loads of those colloquial sayings?
Loads and loads. Can you rephrase that?
Loads and covered in loads and loads of those sayings where they had like the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, and those type of things. Loads of those animal sayings, but only a couple of them stuck. But beforehand, there was way more of them.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't got any examples for you, but I do know that's the case. We have one which is about the dog's testicles. I suppose that one's stuck.
You're the real dog's testicles, see?
Well, it's the dog's a word beginning with B. But...
Oh, okay.
You know, just that. But yeah, beast knees, cat's pajamas. Those are the two that stuck.
We have some very interesting animal colloquial, just terminology down here in the South that you don't hear anywhere else but the South. That it is interesting. It's like a regional thing. You go around and you'll hear these sayings that make zero sense unless you're from that area. Are there any? I'm trying to think of one that is probably near and dear to my heart because I heard it constantly when I was going to college because my instructor would say it often was, and I quote, "This is useless as tits on a boar hog."
Yeah, I've heard that one, and I've heard that whilst in Tennessee. 100%. I've definitely heard that.
And it is one of those that you must pause for a moment and realize, okay, boar hog, male hog, he has nipples. He's not feeding any young. It's useless.
Nipples on a male.
Yeah, and so there you go. And that's a great saying. But if you say that anywhere up north, you're completely lost. Yeah.
I have nipples, fucker. Can you milk me? No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
I like the what's that? Oh, I forgot what it was. But there's like as rare as was it as rare as hen's teeth. That's quite an American phrase with an animal in it. See, I know that you're white. Well, I do call like a mongrel dog a Tennessee brown dog because that's what they call them in Tennessee. Oh, what variety of dog is it? It's, like in Britain, we'd probably say a Heinz 57. But I know that they say, oh, it's a Tennessee brown dog.
We say mutt.
Yeah, mutt, yeah.
Mongrel?
Yeah, but a Tennessee brown dog, it makes it sound like it's a real thing.
Do you know what a bee's favorite sport is?
Whose favorite sport?
Rug. A bee's favorite sport is rugby.
Oh, gosh, hopefully that you'd give me a chance to come up with a great pun.
Oh, sorry.
Rugby.
Okay, how about a bee's favorite kind of candy?
It's not a goddamn Snickers, I'll tell you that for nothing.
Bumblegum.
Bumblegum. Yeah, that makes sense.
This podcast is really popping, but I think we've come to the climax of the banter, and we should probably just move on because this is
Mad Climax Furry Road.
and here we go. We just need to take off about 10-20% and move along onto something that perhaps, I don't know, it might be related to the title of this podcast. That would be nice because
Matthew Jude.
and
Matthew Jude. Everybody with me. Matthew Jude. Nobody.
Okay,
great.
thank you.
Quite uncomfortable.
The silence is unbearable.
Yes, please don't accept the guests.
Don't
but
badger
Matt,
the witness. That's another one with the animal puns. Go on, carry on. Just do it.
we are approaching 45 minutes, and so far we have learned so much about various Nashville people who apparently afflict damage on the people's toes, and armadillos and bees, and we'd like to kind of focus on perhaps something a little more related to the topic. So, Matthew, if you don't mind, if you do not,
I don't.
Okay, so your experience working in the premier board game instructional video YouTube channel of the world.
Yeah, bizarre, right?
Bizarre. Yeah, I mean, yes. This must feel like you have been adopted by Yoda of board gaming, the grand instructor, and he has taken you under his wing. And I just must imagine that Rodney Smith just, he rides your back, and you are jumping, swinging from vines, and making videos, and he's just whispering in your ears how to be a better Watch It Played member. Is this correct, or is it something similar?
It's almost exactly correct. It's like you were there. But yeah, the thing is, right, I didn't ask for this. Because Rodney just, because me and Paula started at the same time, but me and Paula Deming, things get dicey, that's who she is. We kind of started like doing a bit of work for Chaz on Paradise. It lasted about 2 months because just 2 months into it, Chaz said, we're going to start all working for Rodney. And I thought, cool, let's do that. In my mind, I was like, cool, that YouTube channel's like 10 times bigger than Chaz's YouTube channel, which was 10 times bigger than my YouTube channel. So that was good. And that's all that happened. It's great. And then we started doing these lists Chaz does a lot of work on. They're board game adjacent. They're very silly, and I do the news. Rodney's been poaching my ideas for years, and I've said that, and I'll say it to his face. And that's good. It's fun. It's great. It's fine. It's all right. It's great.
Jerry, when I said get the premier contributor to Watch It Played, I meant Paula.
Well,
Everyone does.
Paula was busy. Paula was very busy, and she doesn't know who we are.
But we're very happy to have Matthew.
Well, Matthew has failed upward. We are pleased to have him on the show, simply because of the fact that we have watched Matthew, and he's been a member of the various other podcasts and other things. And you have another podcast that's quite popular, I think, besides Order of Chaos. And I don't know, I don't listen to podcasts. But what was that? The Monster Show.
I've got a podcast called Death by Monsters, which is a show about monsters, mysteries, and the unknown, which I do with Paula Deming and Nick Murphy from the Brothers Murph. It's nothing to do with board games, not unlike 50% of this podcast. And it's each week I bring a story of something that's weird, mysterious, unknown, and I believe, and Paula and Nick do not. And that's basically the premise. I have one for you for that podcast.
Go,
tell me about it.
It's pretty dark, though.
I'm in.
Do you go into... Okay.
Have you seen inside my mind?
Most of my knowledge of you is from the Sporadically Board. What have you done? 12 guest spots? I don't know.
I was winning for a long time, and Dan, the last couple of times Dan's asked me to do it, he's actually said, hey, do you want to record Sporadically Board now? I just need... we're the best one in the world. I'd love to, but I need some more Just give me a day. I just need a day to work it out, right? That's all I need.
And then they call Richard. Okay, so in our area, Jerry, I don't know if you're familiar with, I would hope you're familiar with this. Jerry lives in Antlers, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. If you go due east on Highway 70, you will come into Valiant, Oklahoma, or Hugo, then Valiant. If you continue due east on Highway 70, it's a state highway, you will go into Millerton. Millerton is just a few miles from where I grew up in Valiant, Oklahoma. Millerton, Oklahoma is probably 5 to 10 miles from where I grew up. The Wheelock Missions. This is where they used to school the Native American Choctaw girls of the time back in the 1800s. Jerry, are you familiar with what I'm going to say?
I'm very familiar with it.
So the Wheelock Mission School that is in Millerton, Oklahoma, I remember growing up there, and I remember people saying it's haunted. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It's haunted. No, it's haunted. So apparently at this Wheelock Mission in Millerton, Oklahoma, and I found this on something.org. Like
Sounds
I
legit.
went there one night. I went there at midnight, and you're supposed to see this. You're supposed to see blood. You're supposed to see this and that, all types of creepy things. And when I was growing up, like you could literally still walk through. It's an old Native American school that they would force these girls to attend. I don't know. It's very dark, but they would force these, young Native American girls to attend, and there was lots of abuse and things. But
I've seen pictures of the same type of thing with young boys in being quote unquote civilized. I've seen pictures of that, and I can't imagine it was a very pleasant place to be, those type of situations.
Apparently so, because at this school, like there was, I think the murders are real. There was a murder, and like if you go at night, you can see blood and like these apparitions walking around. But that's Wheelock Mission Schools in Millerton, Oklahoma, and like it's a thing. My whole time growing up there, it was a thing.
I do not doubt for a split second that there's probably a little bit of evil in those type of places, right? I have to assume there's some bad energy being expelled on those premises. There's always happens with these like reform schools and like places they send kids who like they don't want to send them to jail. Like they don't want to send them to jail. There's one in Sacramento, and they don't want to send people to jail, but they don't. It's like a pre-juvie kind of like polytechnic kind of thing, and they've got even when they have good intentions, they just draw the worst type of people to work there. It's always what happens, right?
Yeah. You can this was asylumprojects.org. I will send this to you.
Send it now.
I will send it to you.
And so for all those who want to hear more about monsters and such, your Death by Monsters podcast.
Yeah, Death by Monsters podcast. We've got a website. Yeah,
very nice. Upscale. And as so again, we're learning more about the inward thoughts of Matthew Jude. And everybody knows Matthew Jude, but nobody really knows Matthew Jude, correct?
I would wish that on my worst enemy. Jeez.
Exactly. And so
it's a dark place behind my eyes.
We often try to research our guests before they come on the show. And we did very little research on you, unfortunately.
That's good. But that makes me feel more comfortable, if I'm honest.
Very nice. On the last I think on one of the podcasts on Sporadically Bored, you were lamenting that you are currently without a significant other. Is that correct?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, I think since our now knowing that you frequent, you frequent the South, you frequent the Tennessee area, it would just make sense that, I mean, you're coming to America. We could probably hook you up. Are you familiar with this website called Tinder? It's an app.
I am familiar with Tinder, and I've had many day where I've thought this would be a good idea, and then gone, oh, I just feel way worse about myself. I blistered thumb from swiping so furiously, and then just nothing comes back. It's a terrible situation. I also did go out with a girl from Tennessee, and it ended real bad.
Okay, well let's see if we can't shoot for Alabama this time. We will make you a better Tinder profile. This will help us to get to know you a little bit better here. So
do it.
Okay, here we go. Do you have any other hobbies? Well, wait a minute. Well, the most important question: how tall are you?
6'1".
That's in your favor. Okay.
Well, I'm actually a 6 foot and a little bit, but
You're
say
6.
6'1".
Your hair.
You say 6.
The hair.
Yeah. The hat does it. The hat pushes it.
A little bit. So do you have other hobbies besides just making board game videos and failing upward? And
I'll be
monsters?
honest, board games have become nothing but a chore. But hobbies. I like anime. All the girls like someone who's into anime, right? No, that's not right. Fighting my inner demon? No.
Enjoys
Drinking.
Enjoys cartoons.
What sort of drink do you enjoy?
What'd you say?
What's who?
Yeah.
What sort of drink do you enjoy?
What drinks do I enjoy? I like tea. I like whiskey.
Beer?
And I like stout.
Okay. Whiskey and stouts. Okay.
I don't think, and I don't know if this is right, I don't know if I can put under hobbies drinking.
I do.
You can. You're a sommelier. How do you say that?
I've never said it, but I'm not sure.
Okay, there you go. So you enjoy
sommelier.
adult
That's
beverages.
it. It's just...
I have purchased just this weekend. I went and bought a half gallon of Irish whiskey called Kilburn. I'm about halfway through it right now.
Right this second, you're halfway through it? Did you start when we started recording?
I started, and thus we went to B-Talk. I had to keep drinking to make it through the anticlimax of that.
You got to kind of spice this
We're good.
profile
We're
up.
good. Have you ever heard of Grolsch? Grolsch.
Grolsch, yeah. Dutch lager.
Dutch. Okay, yeah. It's a. I've never had that. It's a fancy bottle.
It does. The bottles are good, and you can take the rubber ring off the bottle and use it to keep your guitar strap on.
It's a very fancy
Plays guitar.
bottle.
Oh yeah, I do. Music. Yeah, that's true. I guess
we're
I'll say
building
music.
your profile right now.
Music.
Do you enjoy hiking or walks on the beach?
No, nobody does.
Jerry, write that down.
Sand is awful.
Sand everywhere.
Sand is awful. It's just vile stuff. I hate sand.
I assume you can play Wonderwall.
I went to university to do music. That's what I did at uni.
So yes, Wonderwall.
I can play Wonderwall.
Okay.
Under duress.
Under duress.
Oasis was one of my 1990s bands of my youth.
I tell you, I went through a
Wonderwall.
big Oasis little period in my life where I think Oasis, that album that Wonderwall's on, What's the Story of Morning Glory, maybe? And
Yes,
that and
Morning Glory.
Nirvana Unplugged, that's what taught me how to play guitar.
Oh, okay. Speaking of which, what is your? Do you have a favorite band, genre, or whatever of the moment growing up? Whatever, I don't care.
Favorite band genre, whatever of the moment, I don't care. Let me think. I like country music and I like punk music.
Okay, punk is something I'm not too familiar with, other than when people talk about the Ramones, and I never listened to the Ramones growing up.
No, I'm not. I like the Misfits. You know the Misfits?
The Misfits. I watched that TV show.
No, that's
very good.
Close. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I don't know the Misfits. What's your favorite punk band?
My favorite
moment?
punk, Against Me would be my favorite punk band of the moment. I think they called
Against Me. Let me write that down. I'll write that down in my journal.
Enjoys music.
Against Me, punk band.
Okay, so you're down to go to the mosh pit, I assume. Let's put that.
I don't want to go, but I'll go. I'll go.
Okay, so your
Against Me.
if you were to go out on a date with someone, what would be your
Dive bar.
Dive bar.
Dive bar.
Okay.
Dive bar.
We're
sounds-
really-
100%. A bar with a pool
Know what that's
table,
about.
a darts board, low light, red and black motif,
Applebee's is out.
junk stuff everywhere,
No
a
cheese.
toilet full of graffiti, a very limited supply of things on offer, and fried food.
You seem like
Dave and Buster's.
are you like a hipster?
possible.
Would you describe yourself as a hipster?
I wouldn't ever describe myself as a hipster as a matter of pride.
Matter. Okay.
Jerry, have you seen his beanie? He's a hipster.
Beanies are a must. Enjoy beanies.
That's so nice. Enjoy beanies. I call my wife beanie every now and then as a colloquial term. Go ahead.
We need to find. Okay, so we got to kind of narrow this down. What are you looking for in a potential
waitress.
mate? A waitress. Waitress? Somebody with
He's looking for a waitress, a tip.
service.
Have you seen the Nicolas Cage movie, where he tips the waitress.
On a bar,
his-
like someone who works behind a bar who's cool and talks to all of everyone, like that they're interested because they want more tips, but they actually do like me. That's what I want. That's the dream. Now, let me describe this woman to you. So we're talking Doc Martens, summer dress, leather jacket, red hair. I have thought about this.
Okay. Wait. Can you
Long,
repeat that
short
very
skirt
slowly?
and a long.
Summer dress, but with a leather jacket and Doc Martens on. We're going very
Summer dress is a
quite-
short skirt. Just
quite tomboy looking. You know,
Tomboy,
that's
okay.
what we're
So-
looking for that 1990s aesthetic, right?
So
Empire Records.
if you had a, is there an actress or an actress that would match?
Mary Stuart Masterson from the movie. Let's see, what's that movie?
Liv Tyler from Empire Records.
Yes,
But I'm
Liv
thinking,
Tyler.
well, Liv Tyler from Stealing Beauty. Am I right? I'm thinking of if an actor and actress that I think would fit the role that I think's a bit nice. I would have said Emma Stone, but she makes me sad when I look at her because I know it's never going to be real. But I guess Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. Okay, so
Is that her name?
Yes.
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 I like Pam from The Office quite a lot. Is that weird? That's a sidestep.
Okay.
No, she's a very nice.
No,
girl.
wait. English or British?
Amy Adams. Ooh, Amy Adams.
Amy Adams. Oh, so you like? Okay, so red hair,
It's a red or like strawberry brown, just that kind of color. I mean,
Strawberry Fields.
I don't really have a type.
you.
I went out with a girl with black hair, a girl with ginger hair, a girl with blonde hair, and a Japanese girl. So I don't think I've got a type.
And I'm not.
I like cute.
We're just saying, and none of these worked out. So we're just.
They did not.
Okay, so we're not. I'm not saying that judgmental. I'm just saying we're just. Are we?
We're just matter of fact.
Matter of fact.
Matter of fact.
And we're trying to rectify this. We're seeing that this is not necessarily working out for you. So we got to kind of maybe narrow our search a little bit more here.
So all the single ladies listening to this podcast, all the single ladies,
I mean,
email us at boardgamesnobs@gmail. You may forward your information, your profile, to Matthew Jude at hotstuff.com.
Send a picture of your board game shelf, and we'll decide if you should be acceptable for Mr. Matthew
We'll
Jude.
forward it to
I don't need
Matthew
you to like the
Jude.
same things as me. I just need you to be as desperate as I am. That's what I
Okay.
need.
Matthew Jude at iamdesperate.com.
That's it.
Okay.
You've visited before?
The loneliness is a black hole.com.
true.
Gotcha.
Okay. Or you could send your application, your CV, your resume to Matthew Jude at endophallus.com.
That's it.
Is that what they call it on Tinder? Is your resume? What do they call that?
That's like calling. That's like calling you a sandwich artist, right?
Yes. I am a certified sandwich artist at Subway.
That's it.
Okay.
So along these lines, Matthew, you okay. I'm going to let me bare my soul to you.
Please do. I feel very vulnerable right now. I'm ready for love.
You would appear to me as someone that has it all. You have very nice looks. You have great hair. You have charm. You have wit. You have a British accent. You live in England, the land of
Rain.
kings and queens and royalty. I'm like, yeah, I would like to be Matthew Jude.
No, you wouldn't. Tell me. I don't want any of those things you've just described. You can have them.
Okay, but so the question is then, this is the question to you.
Go for it.
Do you consider yourself happy with all that you have? Your maniacal cackle has me concerned.
And we broke him.
He's broken.
I wasn't prepared for that. No.
The short answer is no.
Short answer is no. Long answer, no, with a laugh.
Really? See, that's what I'm saying. So it's like the grass is always greener. Like from my perspective, I live in Northeast Texas. There's nothing around me. There's no, my job is laborious. I'm a truck. We haven't discussed this, Jerry, but I'm a truck driver again. Paragons of change. We have changed yet again. I'm a truck driver. I would love to play games for a living. YouTube, podcast. Is that what you consider that you do for a living?
Yeah, I had to have this discussion recently because I was thinking about my taxes. I was like, what do I write? I'm gonna have to swallow my pride and write content creator, and it's gonna feel real dirty.
Okay, but so are you happy with that?
No. No.
Really? What do you want? What do you
see? The thing is that I don't like is I don't want to sound ungrateful, of course, because obviously a lot of people in the world have got it worse than I have, and I appreciate that. But I have to do about 60 different things just to try and survive. I would like to do one thing that supported me, one thing that was successful, right? I think I do about 20 things that are mediocre as far as success goes. I'd like to be able to do one thing that I loved. That's what I'd really like to do. If I'm honest, like to be real honest about it, that's what I'd really like. One thing I'm successful at that pays my money. That means I don't have to do I work 7 days a week and I do 12 hours a day, guaranteed. And I don't want to do that. It's not fun. It's awful. If I'm honest, you have to be honest about it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I'd like to do one thing that I can do 5 days a week for 10 hours a day. That would feel more way more success. But I think kind of comes from different people. I can totally understand that from different perspectives, and the grass is always green on the other side. How people would think that, oh, that's cool, you do this and this, but there's so much stress in what I do because if I lose any one thing, I'm go under, right? So,
yeah. I mean, you're doing this podcast unpaid.
What? What happened to my appearance fee? My lawyer contacted your lawyer, Jeff, was it?
I'll send you a box of zeros.
Oh my God. Just one. I don't want to die I might as well go.
Well, this is the thing. So okay, so now that you're getting to this. So Jerry, me and Jerry talk on a relatively frequent basis. Jerry is what are you? You're a nurse, aka regional manager of a nursing district, blah, 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 blah. He's relatively up there. He's miserable. He hates his job.
No, I wouldn't say that. I work quite a lot.
Not what you said. You work a lot, and you're always dealing with people, customers. You're frustrated.
Correct.
Okay.
But in relative terms, I mean, it is a good job, and it is a lot of. I mean, yeah, I enjoy the job. It's just there is a lot of stress tacked on with said job.
But oftentimes we discuss, as me and Jerry are partners of this podcast, we're like, man, it would be awesome if we could do this podcast for a living. Like this was our living. But we don't do anything else. We don't YouTube. We try to tweet and Instagram every now and then.
I can't. Whenever I give myself, one of the things I'm like at the start of the year, I go, all right, I'm going to tweet more or do that. And after about 6 days, I just think, I hate this. I can't, online. I hate it. Social media, I'm there to browse. I'm not there to contribute. That's how anyway, go on.
It's awful. It's awful. I mean, I browse Twitter pretty frequently, and then I discover it's a horrendous place, and people just fight and tear each other apart.
The key to Tinder, I don't know the key to Tinder. The key to Twitter, key to Twitter is to browse until you feel bad, then stop browsing. You just find something to be angry about, then you stop browsing, and you've done Twitter for that half an hour. Then you wait half an hour, you do it again.
I concur. Twitter is a terrible place, but I mean, if you can find every now and then you find a fellow minded person, you're like, hey, let's be buds. But then the rest of Twitter is awful. It's absolutely awful.
The key to Tinder is the endophallus. The key to Twitter, is you have to realize that this is just a snapshot. People are just spitballing 140-something character ideas, and a lot of times it's often negative, and nobody wants to have a conversation. It's just hot takes of things. And yeah, I'm not a big user of Twitter either. But either way, with everything, if there was one thing that you could do, like what do you want to do? Like say that one solid thing. If you could do one thing besides board gaming, what would it be?
If I could do anything, I could choose what it was. It's if I could do anything, I would like to. I think the ideal job is doing documentaries on traveling. That would be the thing I'd want to do the most. Like a travel show. That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I could,
Rick Steves.
That's what I'd want to do if I could do anything. And I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel, doing that kind of stuff, and then the world kind of shut down all of a sudden. It was bizarre, and but that's what would be my ideal thing.
On Netflix, there's a fellow. He's like the creator / writer of Everybody Loves Raymond. Phil Rosenthal.
Yeah.
Somebody Feed Phil. It's on Netflix. He's an absolute delight. He has a positive attitude. You watch his show. He's just happy. Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix. He travels the world eating food.
I bet he's quite happy. How much is he worth? Do you reckon net worth? I mean,
about 300 million. Yeah,
that'll do it. What is it? Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys the type of misery I love. That's the phrase.
Yes. Yeah, I would look at that. I was like, it's easy to be happy. People say money can't buy you happiness. Those are rich people that say that. Poor people are like, no, it could really help me out a lot.
It could really help with the stress levels, though, right? Sure. The thing is like, honestly, if I could do anything as well, I would love to. This sounds so ungrateful, and I don't mean this to be ungrateful and stuff, but it would be lovely to have board games as a hobby again, rather than work. I mean, I do see board games as work now, rather than a thing I do for fun a lot of the time. Do you ever get that?
Well, no, we don't get that because we're not. This is one thing that I am very thankful for, and although I think we would take the opportunity to.
And rightly so, of course.
Yeah, but obviously, this podcast is not professional enough, and it's not. This podcast is an escape. This is just an enhancement to the hobby, and it's something that we really enjoy doing. And when you take something that is enjoyable and it becomes your quote unquote job or project, it does change. And I mean, it is you view it differently, you treat it differently, you have something that you expect from it. And this podcast, I mean, the only thing that we really expect from it is that we're going to get on and we're going to have a good time. We don't particularly worry about how many people are listening or what's taking place. It's just we do it for fun. And that, of course, Gaby always wants more listeners, but Gaby also doesn't want the stress that would come along with having to do people don't realize what it takes to be a content creator. It's not just set up a camera and smile and say what pops into your head. For actual quality content, I can't imagine how much time that I'll say you, but even Rodney Smith, how much time that y'all spend on doing an instructional video. Like people just
like Rodney, those videos take like a week to make. But I see what goes into. You ever see those things? It's like behind the scene photographs of people taking photographs for Instagram, and you see someone taking a photograph of the person making the Instagram post, and it's taken them all day to set that up for one Instagram post. And that's going to get millions of impressions and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Yeah, I think it's true.
And I think Watch It Played is a good example of that because it was simply I'm going to show people how to visually explain to them how to play a board game. And then slowly Rodney took it a step further. And there's a lot that you can see the quality of the show and how he's kind of branched that out. When I see that, I recognize the work that's behind that. And I just cringe and thank God there's somebody out there that's willing to do that. And that person's not me.
Yeah, well, as well, is that because I do This Game is Broken, which is a board game panel show podcast. And some people said to me in the past, like, oh, is that you edit that show? And I say, yeah, it takes like 8 hours to edit an episode of This Game is Broken. And people will say, oh, I didn't think there was any editing that goes into it. And I have to explain to them, that's the point. It took 8 hours for it to sound like it's natural. So it takes all day just to edit one episode. Because, I mean, you know how it is. When you're recording 5 people recording a Zoom call, and the way we do it is, hey, if you started a sentence, finish your sentence, even if you're talking over someone else, because I will organize that in the edit. Because, it's just timing is difficult because there's so many people talking on a Zoom call. And I always use the example of the Arctic Monkeys. Do you remember that "I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor" song? It was like, oh, that sounds like it was just recorded. They just did it once in a recording room. It's like, no, it takes so much extra work to make something sound natural. Like Dolly Parton, it takes a lot of money it takes a lot of money to look this cheap. It's the same kind of concept.
And Dolly doesn't look anything but natural.
Working 9 to 5.
There you go. There you go.
I love Dolly Parton so much. I really do.
Have you ever been to Dolly World?
I've not been to Dollywood. I've been to Gatlinburg, which is like just down the road from where Dollywood is, but I've not actually been. But it is definitely somewhere I would like to go. Dolly Parton is this is a name drop. It's my friend's godmother. Yeah.
Really?
It's a weird thing. But I was like, so does this mean I could meet Dolly Parton? And the answer is no, that does not mean I can meet Dolly Parton.
Okay. So this is a self-serving question. Did you ever listen to us? Did you check us out when we said, hey, come on the podcast?
I have listened to you a few times ages ago.
That's all it takes.
Because Dan said you need to listen to Board Game Snobs because they're that you're Dan's favourite board game podcast.
Oh, go on.
Stop. No, don't carry on. But the thing is, as well, this is my excuse, is that the more content you create, the less you consume, I find, because you just don't have time to consume it. Or you feel guilty that you're listening to something else where you should be working on something that you're doing, right? I feel like. I kind of think so.
Yeah, I understand.
I do like your accents a lot, and that is something that really does draw me in. There's nothing sexier than a southern accent.
Well, thank you.
All right. Come on down to Texas.
Have either of you ever been to the Bayou?
Yes. It is.
No.
It sounds terrifying. Every aspect of it.
Yes. I was there at a terrifying time. I was there just after Katrina. During that time period, and it was I had never been to Louisiana. I remember my father knew people in Louisiana, and he said they're a different sort. They have been there forever. Some of it is literally a swamp. Everything wants to kill you. There's mosquitoes the size of bats, and it is a fascinating place.
It's just if you're going to kill someone, right? That's the place to do it.
That's the place to do it. Like Louisiana is the dumping grounds. The gators will eat you.
What are you going to do? You can't. That's it. You're gone.
Yeah.
I used to go to America, my mom has said this to me many times. She'd always, just for all my trips, she'd say, "Don't go to the bayou." And I'm like, it's not just because you've seen True Detective once does not mean I'm going to the bayou.
CSI Miami was somewhat similar with their swamps. So many a fanboat ride and dead bodies found in the swamps.
I mean, that's the worst way to find a dead body in a swamp is at a fan boat because he's going round and round.
Speed bumps.
It's just going everywhere. Like a Mortal Kombat finisher. Jeez.
Hey, Mortal Kombat movie coming out. Rated R. Going to come out with a full blood.
Jean-Claude's not in
everything.
Jean-Claude's
in the
not
commercial.
In it, so I'm disappointed.
That was Street Fighter. Come on, Jerry.
You mean Yoshimitsu's not in it?
Mortal Kombat.
King?
All I know is that Scorpion says, "Get over here." In the trailer. Get over here.
There's no way in a million years it's going to be good, but I definitely it's going to be worth a watch. Right? It's one of them. You gotta
watch it. If you grew up in the 1990s,
like
you gotta watch
Monster Hunter,
it.
the movie. Was it Monster Hunter they just did? Was it called Monster Hunter?
Oh, surprisingly not the worst
Apparently
movie
not,
ever.
But wasn't it like half funded by the US military? Come, join us.
Just in case there's monster kaijus.
It'll be fine. Kaijus, you say.
So Matthew, we had asked you. I don't know. You may have missed this episode since you're busy creating content of your own. Did you perchance create your Bubba top 5?
You crazy? I did it.
Okay. So those that are listeners of the show, remember that the Bubba top 5 was quite insane. Bubba, we asked him to create his.
I said, would you please do your top 5 board games? And I did. I just assumed he had done lists.
You just
in the past.
assumed that was a simple question to answer.
Yeah, and he can build bridges. He can literally engineer roads and keeps Texas moving. But to make a list of 5 games that he prefers above the others was a challenge. And he ended up including games for which some he couldn't even remember the name of, and some literally have not been created. They have not been, he's never played them. And so it was just a very interesting list, and it is forever known as the Bubba Top 5. So this is a Bubba list.
He's literally an engineer. And also, before he became an engineer, one of the smartest people I know. He is on the podcast rather sporadically. He's very entertaining. Whenever we go broach subjects of a sensitive nature, we bring on Bubba because he knows how to say words. We do not. But he come on with his Bubba Top 5, and Dan had messaged us and said that was probably one of his favorite episodes, the Bubba Top 5. I said, yeah, it was basically an order from chaos because it's like, that's Bubba's mind.
Yeah.
So his number 5 was like the most recent game he played. His number 4 was like something he was looking forward to. Then he described like box art as his number 3. So Matthew, you're number 5 of Bubba Top 5. Is it the last game you played?
So I've got the last game I played, which was Burgle Bros.
Oh, okay.
Never played that game until recently, and I thought, this is fun. I like it. I want to get Burgle Bros 2, because apparently it's streamlined. I really enjoyed it. Played with Paula. It was good.
I've never played it.
Bubba
has it.
Burgle
I've never
Bros.
played it.
We were at BGG. He bought it and literally had the designer present sign the box. And
Tim Powers, yeah.
Yes, and we spoke to him, and Bubba was very excited about it. And then he took it home, and that was about, 4 years ago? And every time...
2015 it came out.
Okay, so
yeah,
every time we have spoken to him about, we need to play this game, he either can't find it, or he says, I'll bring it over. And it's fascinating that it wasn't even on his list. I'm not sure he's played it. But yeah, okay. So Burgle Bros, number 5.
Okay, number 4, I believe, I don't know what you have, but I said is a game you like, but only described by box cover art.
So what we got, hold on, give me a second. Because here's the thing, I put the whole game in the expansion box, so I'm going to describe the expansion box art. So give me 2 seconds, I forgot to grab it. I'm grabbing it.
It's okay.
I'm not grabbing it, obviously.
Obviously not.
Record, but I'm grabbing the box. Oh, jeez.
No, I'm glad our cameras are off. Because
Don't be grabbing boxes.
All right. Actually, I think the rules have got the... Oh, no, I'm not opening that. That's the whole thing.
He said expansion, so I'm going to go with root.
So, on the expansion, you got a man. There's 2 pigs. The man is holding a cow. Cow looks pretty good looking cow. Walking past some... like a farmer's market. There's a guy with a horse. And in the back, there's lots of fields. And... looks like a village fete going on. What is it? What game am I talking about?
So my immediate thoughts go towards something like Agricola.
There's a long Greek name on the front of the box.
oh, it's one of those UA Rosenberg games that I can't possibly.
Hallertau?
I'll let you just stew on that for a
Greek
second.
name. What's a Greek name?
Or not. Oh,
Odysseus. A long Greek name.
There's
Farmers on the front.
logos for Stronghold games and Artipia games on the front.
Artipia sounds like a stronghold in the northern hemisphere of a Ragnarok.
It's a sequel of sorts to a very similar game set in space.
Oh, Terra Mystica? No? No. Okay, way off.
It's, do you want me to put you out your misery?
Artipia. Okay.
Yeah?
Artipia.
Wait, no, we like to guess things. Let's see. I'm getting Terraforming Mars.
And it's an expansion.
Games.
This is the expansion. It all went in the... It technically all fits in the expansion box. It doesn't. But I destroyed the real box before I fully committed.
This is that farming game that I've never gotten to play. That's like Fields of Green. Green Acre. Fields of Green. Yes. Yeah.
Fields of Green. All in the Grand Fair expansion box. It's amazing. It's one of the best games
Really?
ever. I love it so much.
I have. What's the other one? What's the other version
Amongst
of
the
that?
Stars.
Okay, we played Amongst the Stars, and we didn't like it.
Tell you, Fields of Green's great. You need to just put your
Is
biases.
Fields of Green
shove those in a
better
box.
than Amongst
It's
the
great.
Stars?
Yeah, it's good. You kind of like you've got water. You start off with water and a silo, and then things have to be adjacent to, and it's all about cars, but it's like tile placement essentially. So you need fields to be adjacent to water, and you need everything needs like the ducks need to be next to all the different tiles score for different things, right? So if the ducks are near this and this, then they're going to get points, and if this is near that, it's fairs and it gets points. But it's great. I absolutely love it. I love it so much. It's so great.
I have to check that one out. I have been playing. Speaking of farming games, I have had on my table now for 2 weeks. Fields of Arl.
Oh yeah, you've been soloing it.
I've been soloing it to no avail. My highest score was 100, and it was a false score.
I think I saw a tweet. Did you tweet about this?
Yeah, I did.
About you not doing so as great as you thought. Like, was the goal?
70.
I think you got a score like 70 something, and the goal was 100. That's all right.
The goal is 110, I believe.
Crazy.
And I've been at 70 plus. My last game, I was like, oh yeah, I hit 100. But this is the thing. In Fields of Arl, you have 3 types of animals. Your least amount is your most counted animal. So the least, let's say you have 3 horses, 2 cows, 1 pig. Your 1 pig is worth the most points.
Yeah.
It's worth 2 points. So my 1 pig would be worth 2 points. The second most is 1 point apiece. So let's say I had 2 horses. What would be, okay, so the pig is worth 2. I had 2 horses, so that was 2, 3, 4. And then the most of whatever you have is 0 points. Well, I only had 2 animals.
I'll say,
and I miscalculated, and I gave them both points, and really the one with the most would have been 0.
You scored first and second
blah.
rather than second and third, as it were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, I hit 100. And no, it was all false.
Do you know what? I never have that much luck with the Rosenberg games. I really love At the Gates of Loyang. I think that's a brilliant game. And I really like Feast for Odin. But I'm not the Agricolas and Cavernas and Glass Roads in the world. I've not loved as much as I've desperately wanted to love them. But Hallertau looks really cool. I do like the look of that one. But Fields of Arl is the one that people say is because I say I didn't enjoy Glass Road. Fields of Arl is meant to be very good. I would be interested in trying it.
Jerry, I thought you would chime in on Gates of Loyang.
I love Gates of Loyang. Gates of Loyang is amazing. And recently have started playing the family edition of Agricola with my family, because I have a family. I've reproduced. And I'm not
with your endo.
Yes, palace? I'm not throwing that out there.
There was an audible pop.
I'm just saying.
And now Jerry has a family.
Someone else saw me as a worthy mate, and that's a thing that we did, and it worked out. I'm just saying.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. But you too could have this same success if only your top 5 is better than mine. Let's see. Number 3. What is your number 3?
I was given a favorite movie as number 3.
Yes.
And I chose the movie Sideways.
Interesting. Merlot. I hate Merlot.
Yeah, that's the one. Sideways. It's my favorite film. It's about a depressed man who wants more from his life, who is surrounded by people who are more fulfilled than he is.
Autobiographical, Matthew?
I'll be honest with you, it did hit home pretty hard. But it's great.
As the kids say, it hit a little different.
Do they say that?
That's what they say.
My
goddaughter is 24 years old. And she's on the TikToks and the Snapchats, and she's always saying words. And she says,
"Does she say vibe a lot? Does she say, yeah, I'm just vibing? I'm just vibing." They've been saying that. No. The kids will be saying that.
This slaps. That's what I say. This slaps. I like that.
She says it slaps.
That's my favorite.
This song's a banger. They'd be saying.
She doesn't like it when I say it slaps, though, because she says old people shouldn't say that.
It's like when you don't want your parents to say cool, right?
How old are you, Matthew?
Need that for the Tinder. Need that for the Tinder.
There are different answers if it's for the Tinder.
Okay.
I'm going to say 33, you're just like Jesus.
I was going to say 32.
Just like Jesus.
the Messiah of Watch It Played. We got you.
Matthew Jude, the Messiah of board gaming. Also,
But Sideways is an amazing
Virgin.
film. Just to,
I will be honest with you, as I like to be honest with our guests. I have never seen it.
oh, it's so good. But you got a quote, and you were convincing to me, and I appreciate that.
I said that quote because I thought you might say, "Oh yeah, he's seen it. He's with me." But no, I only know that because I've seen bits and pieces of it. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Well, I bet you do, right? That makes sense.
I'm a truck driver. Yeah, I'm a truck driver, so I listen to lots of podcasts, and I know that Paul Giamatti says he hates Merlots for whatever reason. I don't know. I haven't seen
Paul
it.
Giamatti is amazing and one of the
he's
best
amazing.
actors of this generation. He's not even this generation.
100%.
He's just it. It's just Paul Giamatti. Even in poor
He's so
films,
good.
that awful M. Night Shyamalan film that he starred in, even he was good in that. Like, if you can be in a
Lady in the Lake or something?
Lady Underwater or something
Lady
like
in the
that. I
Water?
can't remember what it's called, but whatever it was, even in that, you could give him poor material and he is still mesmerizing.
Who's your favorite actor, Matthew?
Jeez, my favorite actor. I'll be honest, I kind of resent them all. But I think I have an answer for this, but it's not going to, like, I can't think of what the answer is. I do have an answer for this, I would normally give. I think Robin Williams is one of the greatest actors of all time. I think him in a serious role is difficult to beat.
Always found interesting that some of these great comedians, stand-up comics, they're like some of the best dramatic actors there are.
Because they've actually maybe have experienced real life once or twice. I feel like, right?
Yeah, it seems that way.
Real life and cocaine.
That'll do it.
I was watching this. I have stumbled upon this podcast by Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
He's from Real World or something. And I stumbled upon it through TikTok. I watch his TikToks. And he's like, my favorite weed is cocaine. And I was like, they always have his TikToks on, and he's freaking hilarious. I have not actually listened to a full podcast of his, though, so he might be
He's
careful.
got some very interesting stories about when he was growing up. From my understanding, he came from like dirt poor, right? So he's got some interesting.
He sounds southern, so I'm sure he's from our region somewhere.
He was poor. Two wife beaters in the winter. We didn't have no coats. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
I absolutely. Theo Vaughn is. He's an incredible storyteller. Like, he is.
Okay, I found him on TikTok.
He
People.
rivals Bill Burr in a lot of ways, in telling you a plain story but putting such a spin on it. Yeah, he's awesome. Number 2.
My favorite.
Nobody cares.
Well,
Nobody
hold
cares
on.
about Russell Crowe.
Jerry, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, favorite
Tell you
movie.
what, Gladiator is good though. I'll say it. I don't care what people think. It's a great film.
Mine. Wait, what did you say, Matthew?
Gladiator is a good film.
Gladiator.
I'll die. I'll die. On that
Yes,
hill.
thank you. That is my number 1 movie of all time. Thank you very much.
It's my mom's favorite.
Russell Crowe.
film. She likes Russell Crowe's knees.
My mother
bee's
loved
knees.
Russell Crowe.
Well, the thing with
Crowe's
Gladiator that's so
knees.
cool is they made most of it up on the spot while they were filming because they didn't even go into production with the full script.
That's amazing, Ridley Scott, baby. I always say this.
Sorry, go on.
It's possibly nostalgia, but Gladiator is my number 1 movie. It puts a lump in my throat every time he dies at
It's
the end.
amazing.
And the music, and then the music swells. And then Russell Crowe is my mother's favorite actor for a short while there. L.A. Confidential. She
Yeah, my
loved him
mum
in
always
that.
tells me to watch LA Confidential. She's always saying,
Yeah,
she's watching
that's
LA
great.
Confidential.
Great stuff.
I'm a big fan of a lot of, I like a lot of war films. I'm a big fan of war films, though. Like Bridge Over the River Kwai and stuff like that. I'm a big war film fan.
Jerry, what's your go-to war film that's like I haven't never seen, but you always tell me to watch?
Oh, well, this is, and I was just, again, my YouTube suggestions is always a scene of this will always pop up, but it's actually a Michael Caine's first movie, and it's a old war film about British colonialism, and it's one of the
Zulu?
Zulu.
Yeah.
Zulu is an amazing film. for all. Yeah, of course, they do the story a little bit different, but yeah, an amazing film.
Does it hit a little
It
different?
does.
It's all kinds of ways.
Okay, so we've conquered our number 3 favorite movie. Number 2 is a game you'd like to see turned into a movie.
Now, hear me out. I know it's been done before, but I feel like we could. I just think I like animals a lot. I would watch Zoolaretto the movie, but not a comedy. And I don't know what it would be. Just Zoolaretto the movie, where they're built. I know it's been done. But that doesn't mean it can't be done better.
Okay, quick question. Matthew, quick question.
Yeah.
Why do the British not say tease?
What?
You're saying Zoolaretto, right?
Zoolaretto.
Because they drink it.
You're
They
not
drink
saying
it.
the tea. They drink it.
We drank all the teas.
You know, there's a famous British comedian. He makes fun of the way Americans say herbs, but then he says we say herbs because there is a effing H in it.
You say leisure, we say leisure.
Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard, yeah. He's amazing. Sorry,
you say
she's amazing, I should say.
You say Zoolaretto.
Zoolaretto. A T is only necessary if it's at the start of a word. And even then, it can be a
You could just leave it out. Yes, like lieutenant.
Or Matthew.
Matthew. M-A-F-U.
That's interesting. Zoolaretto.
Zoolaretto. I'm just saying, right, you got a bunch of animals all hanging out, doing their thing. It's essentially a documentary. I'd watch it. I'd say documentary. That one stays.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
what I appreciate about you.
Good. I don't know, but not a comedy is what I mean. I want it depressing as that can get. I want to watch Born Free, essentially, is what I want to watch.
Jerry, have you played Zoolaretto?
No, I haven't. That's the animal set collection game.
Yeah.
No, I've like Colorado. Like that's north of us in Colorado.
That's the name of my son. My future son is going to be Colorado Moraga.
Zoolaretto really actually, it took me by surprise, that game. It's such a classic. It's so good. I really, really like that game. So, yeah, I'd watch the movie.
All right, let's go to your number 1.
So, you gave me, number 1 can be literally whatever you want. I'll be honest, because there were no margins or rules, it was hardest one to think of. But I'll tell you one thing. I haven't played a video game since Final Fantasy VII. And I've started streaming a bit on Twitch because that's what they say you should do. I've been playing Stardew Valley on Twitch. It's at the start. It's the second T in that I can't say, so it's Twitch. No, it doesn't work at all. But Stardew Valley has absolutely blown my mind, and I absolutely love it. I'm a bit obsessed with it. Have either of you played Stardew Valley, the video game?
I began it. I realized there's a big hubbub about the board game coming out with it.
That's true.
I have no interest in the board game. The game is fine. Like I understand because it reminds me of the old video game that was out. What was it called? There was a farming game that has been out for years at a time. That was
Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon. I played a lot of Harvest Moon back in the day, and it was wonderful because it was.
It's a new Young song.
Yeah, it was.
On this harvest.
Well, it's just other games that I liked when I was much younger. I liked, other than Worms, I liked a game. It was before Warcraft became World of Warcraft, and it was just Warcraft 2. And it's the same kind of thing, really, when you think about it. You just get stuff to build stuff, to get better stuff, to build stuff, to get better stuff, then you can build stuff. That's all you're doing. And that's all you really do in Stardew Valley. Nothing really happens. You just get stuff to get better stuff. And I like it. And the music's very calm. It kind of helps me with my stress levels.
Well,
it's good.
If you want something that is slightly more macabre, same art design, basically a ripoff of Stardew Valley, but in my opinion, just it took me by surprise. Like I said, I don't particularly care for Stardew Valley, but this one just popped up and I had to play it. It's called. Let me make it up here. Make sure I'm looking at it right. It's called Graveyard Keeper.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in already. I'm in.
You
Go
are
on.
a graveyard keeper back in like the Stardew Valley type era, like that not medieval, but basically that. And you keep a graveyard, and every day a talking donkey pulls a cart up to your home and drops off a body, for which you are now tasked with burying said body, decorating the grave. Of course, you can take the body to the morgue and remove organs to be sold on the black market. You can also then have a side business where you're making various wines and foodstuffs attached to your home, and you can kind of have a side hustle. And also, you keep the graveyard and you interact with the various people around this small town. It's a very condensed version and very more focused version of Stardew Valley, but it is hilarious. And I cannot, if you like Stardew Valley and you want something that's just a little more dark, but at the same time that same mechanics, I can't recommend it enough.
Graveyard Keeper. I'm on it. I'm in. That does sound up my street.
One of my favorite ASMR artists on YouTube, Massage ASMR. He doesn't make videos anymore, apparently. He's from Australia.
These are not what you think they are. Road cleansing packets. I've listened to some massage ASMR. Demetrius, Australian.
Dimitri, yes!
Mate.
He doesn't make videos anymore.
He doesn't. Why not? Make more videos. I
don't know. He's my favorite with his crinkle shirt as Dimitri. I have listened to you on Sporadically Bored, and you mentioned ASMR, and I was like, my soulmate. That's
true.
my soulmate right there.
I thought that too. I was like,
Jerry doesn't get ASMR. He doesn't get that tingle in his brain. The first time
I do meth.
Go ahead.
I do meth, basically Adderall, and that's how I get my tingle. So I don't need some Australian whispering in my ear.
I don't get the tingle. I don't really get the tingle.
Really?
I never.
Okay.
I think I've experienced that once in my whole life, but I do find it very calming. I like it.
It is very calming. I like. Okay, I'm gonna go. My top 3 is massage ASMR, gentle whispering with Marie.
Yeah, I know well.
And ephemeral rift.
Oh, ephemeral rift is ace. He's cool, isn't he? I like ephemeral rift a lot. Yeah.
Oh, I can. Those are my top 3. And massage ASMR. Like he's been gone for months and months and months, and then he made one video, and now he's been gone months and months again. But to me, he's one of my top favorites. But I don't know what's going on, and I try to look in the comments. They're like, no, he's just missing. And of course, there's always people like R.I.P. It's like, no, he's not dead. He just is doing something else with his life.
Obviously, got a real job. I tell you what, let's talk about ASMR for a second. Because why not? I have to be careful what ASMR artists I listen to, and it's for a very pathetic reason. Is that I can't listen to someone I am too attracted to because it makes me feel sad because it's a bit too real. There's one girl, she's called Goodnight Moon ASMR, and I think her name's Erin, and she is incredibly attractive to me, and yeah, I can't listen to it. It just makes me sad. But there's this guy called Kevin ASMR, which is the most standard name ever, and I tell you, he's got a southern accent. I've been enjoying him a lot. He's good. Getting him doing stuff in my ears. I'm liking it. Popping off in my ears.
I've kept track. ASMR Darling was like the number 1.
Yeah.
Like she surpassed Marie, and then GB was behind her. But now GB ASMR, she's like the number 1.
She's number 1,
3 million.
GB.
There's a Scottish GB. There's a Scottish ASMR artist called Shortbread. She's good. I like her. It's very Scottish.
GB, Shortbread, Ephemeral Rift. These all sound like stripper names. Like I don't know. I've never listened to ASMR. I don't.
I have checked. None of them have got any, if I'm honest.
There's no cinnamon ASMR. All right. Well, Matthew, this has been an absolute delight.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
I hope it's been a delight for you as well. I was very starstruck in having you on the podcast, and I hope you have been, having a good time.
I received the best emails I've ever received as part of this whole podcast experience.
Well, good. I'm glad.
There were stories within their own right. They were fantastic, and I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I've loved it. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
And of course, as you know, we tend to rotate in the same circles. We like to consider ourselves good friends of Dan, but now that he's Core Quest fame, he may not ever talk to us again.
Right.
He does. Mike Delicious Toes of Dice Tower, he's also on a different pedestal. So, we're still dragging around here at the bottom, but, we try to reach for the top, and that's where we come in contact with you guys, and we appreciate you coming on our small show.
Don't talk down about yourself. Jeez, I've had a good time. It's been fun.
I'm glad you have. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Any last wrap up or thing you'd like to promote?
Just have a good life, everyone out there. Hi, I'm Matthew Jude.
Very good. That makes me Gaby.
And this makes me slightly confused, but that's okay because this has been enjoyable.
Lean into it.
I'm leaning into it, and I am very pleased that we could have Mr. Jude on, and that maybe we wish him all the success in his further dealings in life.
Have you on again?
Sounds good. Excellent.
See, if I say it in the podcast, it's awkward if you say no.
It has to happen. It is now written in the stone. All right. Until next time, we'll see you later. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.